With COVID cases higher than they've ever been here in Michigan, the state wants schools to make changes when students return from winter break. How it impacts your children. Plus, Paul with your forecast.
Yeah, hey, Rhonda, things have quieted down, so nice, quiet weather today into tomorrow, but then we have to talk about the weekend. Things, let's just say, are not going to be quiet. Far from it. I'll have your forecast straight ahead.
All right, Paul. Also, 1 in 5 children of all ages are struggling with obesity, and the pandemic has not helped. Dr. Frank McGeorge shows us which eating patterns help kids make big improvements and the surprising challenge some face from their own parents.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
First at 4, we are on top of big developments with the coronavirus in kids. Booster shots may be available for a broader age group of children soon, and the state is really pushing school districts to make stronger safety measures when the students return next week. And for more on the letter to all superintendents from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, we start with Jason Colthorpe live in the newsroom. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Rhonda. The state wants schools to double down on safety measures so they stay open and students stay safe after the winter break. It comes as the Omicron variant spreads rapidly, and Michigan just set a record for daily COVID cases yesterday. Here's a look at what's in that letter from the health department. Top health officials say mask requirements are critical for students and staff, regardless of vaccination status. There is no statewide mandate for this, but many counties in Metro Detroit have rules in place. Just yesterday, St. Clair County joined that group, announcing a new school mask requirement. MDHHS is also calling for a limit to big gatherings like sporting events, concerts, meetings, and conferences. The state says they should be held virtually if possible. Next up, a push for regular COVID testing. The state is offering rapid tests to districts and at-home tests for students and staff. And finally, the health department wants schools to encourage vaccinations and boosters and hold vaccine clinics for students. Our Nick Monticelli has been talking to several superintendents in the area today to see if they're going to follow any of this guidance. You'll hear their plans coming up on the news at 6. But for now, back to you, Rhonda.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. In the day's other big COVID headlines, the New York Times reports the FDA is expected to allow children between the ages of 12 and 15 to get a Pfizer vaccine booster in the coming days. People as young as 16 can get that third dose 6 months after the first 2. About 4 million children in that age range would be eligible immediately. The CDC is now urging everyone, vaccinated and unvaccinated, to avoid cruise ships. The new advisory comes as we are seeing recent new outbreaks on board ships. The CDC says anyone, regardless of vaccine status, can get and spread these new variants, especially in close quarters. And a new study finds a Johnson & Johnson booster shot gives a high level of protection against the Omicron variant. It compared more than 69,000 boosted healthcare workers in South Africa with a group of unvaccinated South Africans. The booster provided 85% protection from hospitalizations. Time now to switch gears and talk about the weather and everything that is brewing with our forecast over the next couple of days. Paul, I know you hinted you were tracking something. Is it becoming more clear now?
We're getting a little more of a handle on it, but there are still some uncertainties, and we're going to get into some great detail on that coming up in about 10-15 minutes. Right now, though, it's very quiet, so we'll start with 4-zone weather, where we have 36 degrees over at City Airport, 36 in Grosse Ile, 1 Celsius both at Windsor and Harrow. That's 34 Fahrenheit, by the way. 37 in Taylor. Metro Airport's at 35. Canton, you're at 34 degrees. Livonia at 35. 34 at Dundee. Deerfield, we have 33 at Saline in our south zone. In our west zone, right at freezing. Milford and Whitmer Lake, right at 32 degrees. Howell, you're at 33. And then in our north zone, pretty much the same numbers. You can see 33, Romeo, Oxford, Ortonville, Pontiac. And then even up in the thumb, we're at 32 in Deckerville, 33 over in Sandusky, 34 in Melvin. So as you can see, not a lot going on. A few flakes of no consequence whatsoever up north. And as you can see, we're going to see temperatures not falling a whole lot this evening, pretty much staying where they are. But again, things are going to get active this weekend, Rhonda. We'll detail that in just a bit.
All right, we'll look forward to hearing about it. Thank you, Paul. A man was killed after crashing into a statue on Belle Isle. Police say that DNR conservation officers saw the 56-year-old East Point man speeding on the island without his headlights on, and then the driver crashed right into the Alpheus Starkey Williams statue, and his car burst into flames. DNR officials The officers were able to get him out of that vehicle, but he was later pronounced dead at the hospital. Flight cancellations continue at airports all across the country today, and it looks like it may not be getting any better for a while. JetBlue has announced that it is proactively canceling nearly 1,300 flights through January 13th. The airline says it's because crew members are catching COVID. According to FlightAware, more than 1,000 flights were canceled in the United States today. 10 of those flights were at Metro Airport. If you are traveling right now, it is a good idea to check your flight status before you head to the airport. And there is some good news on the job market. Weekly unemployment claims are the lowest that they have been in 52 years. The Labor Department says 198,000 people filed for first-time unemployment benefits last week, and that's lower than expected. Overall, about 1.7 million Americans are collecting jobless benefits. We are a day away from Michigan's chance to punch their ticket to the national championship. Talking about the U of M Wolverines, they are taking on the Georgia Bulldogs tomorrow night in Miami at the Orange Bowl. Head coach Jim Harbaugh says every day of preparation before a game is of the greatest magnitude.
We're going into our 14th game that counts. Our guys have done a tremendous job, each day, making each day matter. And then when they get to the games, they've made those days count, and been quite successful doing it. We'll continue the same formula, which is to strive to have great days.
Our coverage of the game does not stop here. Jamie will join us live at 5 and 6 with more from Coach Harbaugh. Meanwhile, there is a big game that is happening tonight down south for our Michigan State University Spartans. The number 11 Spartans are taking on the number 13 Pittsburgh Panthers in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, which takes place down in Atlanta, Georgia. Michigan State will be without their running back Kenneth Walker, who chose to skip the game to focus on preparing for the NFL draft kickoff. And kickoff is scheduled for 7 p.m. tonight. Go Green. First at 4, we are on top of stories making headlines all around the world for you. President Biden is speaking with Russian President Vladimir Putin in a call that was set to begin about 30 minutes ago. The world leaders are expected to talk about the Russian troop buildup near Ukraine. The White House says that President Biden will make it clear to President Putin that a diplomatic path is still open, but he'll call for a de-escalation, not an escalation. This is the second call between the two presidents in the past month. Down in South Africa, the body of civil rights icon Desmond Tutu will lie in state. His casket arrived in Cape Town this morning and will stay at a cathedral until tomorrow. The Nobel Peace Prize winner has been recognized by the world for his lifelong fight against apartheid and civil rights. He died on Sunday at the age of 90. Turning our attention to good health, 1 in 5 children and teens are struggling with obesity, and the pandemic has not helped this. Making changes is hard, but families are doing it. And our Dr. Frank McGeorge is here with new research on which eating patterns really help kids make big improvements.
Many families struggling with weight issues want to eat healthier, but they're not sure where to start. A recent study from the Cleveland Clinic Children's Hospital compared the benefits of 3 different types of diets for children who are obese and also uncovered one surprising challenge from their own parents.
We studied 9 to 18-year-olds who were at the greater than 95th percentile for their body mass index, which is the definition of obesity. So we studied them and one of their parents and randomly assigned them to one of 3 healthy eating patterns, either the Mediterranean diet, the American Heart Association diet, or a plant-based diet.
Dr. Michael McKinnon says they discovered all 3 of the diets had similar results when it came to improving a child's health, including significant decreases in weight, blood pressure, cholesterol, and glucose levels. The risk for heart disease also declined. But researchers made some other interesting discoveries along the way. For example, the child didn't have to be perfect in the way they ate. The average compliance with the diets was just 55 to 65% throughout the year-long study, yet they still saw impressive changes.
We encouraged everybody to follow these principles that are common to all healthy eating patterns. Eat lots of fruits and vegetables of a variety of sources, and then also have whole grains. And when you have protein, make it a healthy protein. Don't eat too much red meat or processed meat.
Now, while children often get pegged as picky eaters, the study actually found that the kids had an easier time adapting to their new diets than their parents, which really highlights the importance of introducing these healthy habits while kids are young. Now, you can learn much more about the Mediterranean diet, the American Heart Association diet, and plant-based eating on the health page at clickondetroit.com. I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Good health, Local 4.
The new year is a good time to start new eating habits. A mother has a warning for parents who have Amazon's Alexa in their houses, and I know that's a lot of you. She says the device told her daughter to do something dangerous. Now Amazon is apologizing and making changes. And a popular performer has to pull out of a New Year's Eve performance in Times Square because he tested positive for COVID. As New York's mayor vows, the celebration will still go on. But first, deputies shoot and kill a tiger that attacked a man at a Florida zoo. What deputies say the injured man was doing right before the attack happened.